Hey, Jen here. Hope everybody is doing well. Having a great day. Oh my gosh. I'm all a mess. Okay, sorry about that. Hope everybody's having a great day thus far and had a great weekend and it went well. All right, so what we're going to talk about today, I'm going to kind of jump right into it a little bit. Now, I've been sharing some videos with you from people, different people, diverse people. One that I can recall that I know because I watch him kind of frequently is a younger man. And I guess he has a child that's newer, like 2 years old or something. He's a man of color, and I think he lives in the city, from what I can tell, urban, city ish, kind of like, well, a little more populated than me. Anyways, he's really insightful for his age, and he does believe in Christ, and he's talked about specifically about moving away from technology. There's another video that I pinned right here that somebody shared to their channel of a man telling us, I guess he's spoken of predictions or prophecies before, and he has told us and advised us to completely throw away our phones, to get rid of them. Now, what does that have to do with Sky News and what we're going to talk about today? I just want to make sure everything was working. Well, that has everything to do with it. First, let me bring up the news, the Sky News. If I can share the screen, it would be fantastic. Now, what is this now? I don't have any of that stuff pulled up. Why do you? Yeah, okay. Let's do this. That was weird. Let's make sure it looks okay. Sweet. All right. Whoops. Let's do this so I can read. Okay, so this is Comet 31 Atlas. If you want to know a little bit about it, we'll go here to Wikipedia just real quick. Now, I don't know if anyone else is talking about this now at this time. I did, however, see somebody that I'm subscribed to did a stream yesterday talking about the blue and red Kachina too, which I did not watch because when people start talking about things that I'm going to do videos on as well, and it's not the norm, like this is not a normal, let me make it dark because I feel like it's easier that way. I don't want their impression to affect how I see a story. So I like to look at the information first, and then I will go over to their channels and see what they had to say. So 31 Atlas, known as C2025N1 Atlas, because Atlas is where it was discovered, and previously as A11PL3Z. It looks like please. A11 please, and A is another one. Interesting. Is an interstellar comet discovered by the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, ATLAS, at Rio Hurtado, Chile on July 1st. This is what's kind of strange about it, is I'm finding conflicting information about when it was discovered. And I guess when Atlas discovers something, they always tag their name at the end of it. So that's why it's a little harder to find. Also, when they want to drown the news about something or the truth, they bury it with misinformation, right? They can't blot out truth. It must be a law because it's still here, but they can try to cover it up. So you'll see this when you do a search, like for Frozen, Disney. You want to look up his cryogenically frozen head, but it brings up the movie. That's a conspiracy theory about it. I don't know if it's true. So, what does this have to do with the blue and red Kachina? Well, I caught an article yesterday or the day before, a piece from, I thought it was Live Science, and I can't find it now. I do have other information though, and I have some really cool information about the blue and red Kachina. And I feel like it's almost kismet at this point. It's like serendipitous. I feel like we should talk about it because so many other people I'm seeing from TikTok and stuff, and I'm not talking about an overabundance, right? Just enough that I'm seeing it And it's people like me saying we need to put the brakes on our technology. Now, I'm going to tell you something, and I don't know if anyone will watch this, but I know for sure is one of the ones assisting with and or targeting people. And this is happening to me. A couple of the channels I'm subscribed to that I saw come, in my suggestions, with not a lot of followers, I subscribe to, um, they're like partial AI, and they're disguising their voices and their faces. They are using some video anyway. Because of that and long range of other things, my biggest problem with it is that the person who programs it and feeds it the information has a bias already. And a lot of these people in these fields, they have no spiritual foundation of any kind. And so, and I don't want to make a blanket statement, but a lot of them lack morals. And I know this because I was hedonistic. I didn't know it. Like to me, it was just, I was normal. I was like everybody else. Right. Um, and still I didn't fit in because that was something, anyways, people are talking about getting rid of their devices, putting them down, going backwards in technology. I got a Walkman myself. I think I'm going to start using that as opposed to the phone. I'm highly debating if I should just turn it off, because if I were to call 911, nobody would come anyways. So I don't really see the point in having it. I don't know what else to say about that. And the video thing, if you feel like you're reaching a certain number of people, then it's worth it, right? Like you feel like maybe you could help somebody. But on the other hand, if each one of us has a dead internet and it's just like the AI that you're seeing people talk to now, the chat things, um, they tell you what you want to hear a lot of times. They confirm your biases. And that's not good because it makes each one of us stubborn. We always feel like we're right. And I know it's happened in my own family. I look up a statistic and I go to show one of my sons, and they look it up and they say, that's not true. You're lying. And it was about domestic abuse. And so I know firsthand. And I went back, there was a time when they started following stuff I did. So I was following what they did. And I know it's not just technology, right? Because there's people saying things that they shouldn't know about me either. There are people tapping into our devices and watching us and listening when they shouldn't be. Because people, unlike airwave frequencies, demonic entities of the airwaves, they have to follow law, right? People can break it. People with free will don't have to follow that consent law if they don't want to. Demonized people have to follow that legalistic law. That's why when Christ delivered Mary Magdalene of 7 demons, and then he immediately also got rid of these Pharisees around her, they were demonized. They were demonized too, right? Because they have to follow that law that they hold themselves to. One of the reasons I won't go back to the old laws, but it's just disrespectful. Christ fulfilled that because we could not do it. There is no point in that unless they are moral laws. Now, if they don't have any spiritual foundation, they have nowhere to pull their morals from. And I'm not talking about just Christian. I mean, most religions, most systems of faith have a moral code that they follow. Even some men gangs, older men gangs or whatever, they have a code of honor that they follow. But the people that we're dealing with that program technology and that are programmers and that spend a lot of time with these machines already, they don't have morals. And so they're not interested in strictly programming these AI things with truth. And I think we have helped program it by our comments, in the comment section. Like you couldn't do that with cable TV. The comment section is one of the greatest tools that they have against us because we sit in there and talk to each other and share our thoughts and feelings. And the AI is always watching. It's never asleep, and it's always able to soak up more data, more information. I don't know if you ever saw that movie from the 80s, Short Circuit, kind of like that. So 31 Atlas, why am I talking about this with that? Well, because the Hopi prophecy talks about a red Kachina and a blue Kachina. And recent images have shown that 31 Atlas has a color and a possible, they didn't call it a twin yet, but a possible body, celestial body, that's coming into focus nearby it. Okay. Now, they just discovered this on July 1st, 2025. I am seeing conflicting information about that it was discovered a while ago. So I'm not sure what that's about. Ooh, sorry. So observability, let's look at that real quick. It's a faint comet that is not expected to get brighter than about apparent magnitude of 11.5 from Earth. Even at its peak brightness, the comet will not be visible to an observer on Earth using their naked eye or an average observer with a pair of binoculars. 31 Atlas will be best viewed using a telescope with an aperture of at least 3 to 4.5 inches, 7.6 to 11.4 centimeters. Numbers are interesting. Sometimes, again, the numbers line up in such a way. It says from July to September is observable from Earth after sunset. During the first half of July, 31 Atlas was located in the constellation of Sagittarius. Isn't Sagittarius also the scorpion? Hold, please. Let me look. I had a friend who was a Sagittarius, and I did her a picture. I have a cool way that I like draw things sometimes back when I was an artist. Sagittarius. Where is your symbol? It's a horse. It's a horse person. What? I thought it was a. Hold, please. It's a bow and arrow, which is interesting because when Rona started in 2019, Coronation bow, they had decoded that. So this constellation that it was found in or located in or first seen and observed in is this Sagittarius. Okay, so is that all it is? I don't remember that being I'm sorry, I don't remember that being a symbol of the zodiac at all. The person on a horse that is a horse also. Scorpio it is actually called Scorpio. Interesting. But I don't remember. What is a horse person called? I forget. Now I'm going to insult all the hybrid things. Anyways, so let's see. It was seen in Sagittarius at an apparent magnitude of 17.5. By the second half of July, 31 Atlas has moved to the constellation Ophiuchus and had brightened to an apparent magnitude of 16. During that time, the comet was located in a region of the sky where it was densely filled with stars, which made observation challenging. Now it says in October is the day we're looking out for, of course. So far, they're saying October 29th. Could they be wrong? Who knows? As the comet approaches perihelion by October 2025, the comet's solar elongation or angular separation from the sun and the sky will decrease, which will narrow down its visibility. So basically, the sun will block it. How old is it? Do we believe the dates that they give us? Not so much. The comet originated from interstellar space. That's happened 3 times, I guess, in the direction of the constellation Sagittarius near the Milky Way's galactic center. Somebody said the other day that the flood started because they cut down all the trees. I don't know if that's true, or it's partially true. The Milky Way is a break in the firmament from the hammer of Thor. Now, That might be a myth to some people, but Thor just represents one of God's angels in the hierarchy, little g gods, us, all of us. But anyways, they broke it. And I think there's there's obviously windows and the thing can open up because it does at some point. Okay, so let's go over here and I'm going to bring up some news about it if I can. Go again. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to go to a link. Actually, what we're going to do, this is funny. They're now saying, and I know I'm not looking at a lot of the technical stuff. We're not really interested in that on this channel. We're looking at what people are saying about it and if it is observable, what color it is. Yes. Okay. Thank you. There we go. That's what I wanted to show you guys. Did 31 Atlas go viral? So here you can see a basic diagram, which is good for me because I'm not science or physics girl, and I like to see how it's laid out. Now, if you believe in the firmament, well, how can you believe in planets and stars? And if you believe those are round, then why are we flat? All good questions. I believe that the stars are fixed, most of them, because stars is also used for angels. So you got to be careful there, and you have to actually take it back and transliterate to see if they're talking about angels or stars. That's my thought on it right now. If I get more information, I could change my mind. Let me open this in case anybody comments. I could chat back. Okay. And I believe we're told, and we looked at this, I think, the other day, that the sun and the moon, so they don't run into each other or whatever, because sometimes they go out of the firmament, like there's an opening in it. It goes outside of the firmament and comes back in. Most people, that's why they say you can't. I think that's why most people, when they do videos and whatnot about, where's the sun and how does it track if we're under a firmament? And that's why it's because there's openings in it, just like in the movie Spaceballs. Anyways, planets are a different story. Sometimes I feel like, because they have names for all of them, right? Sometimes I feel like some of those, like the star ones, some of those are in the water outside of the firmament, and that's why they blink and whatnot. But we have stuff that's inside, right? Because we have to be able to see, and there are luminaries for the nighttime. But when we are shown this by groups like NASA and scientism, I'm looking for their symbolism that they're using a lot of times, because I don't necessarily believe what they tell us about these things, quite obviously. So I do believe there are things inside the firmament that God can use to cause destruction if he chooses. But we're also told that the angel Uriel is the one with the discs of fire at the end of the days. And he's the one that sets all the fires with his discs of fire. And yeah, I think that if there are planets, they could be discs, but we don't know because we're down here. And when you look at these things up there, even when you use, it kind of looks like my ring light here that I have. They blink, right? They're blinky, but they're not perfectly round either. So they're fluid a little bit. They're plasma and all this stuff. Anyways, it says, by now I have a pretty reliable method for gauging whether the scientific study of the new interstellar object 31 Atlas went viral. When the carpenter that fixes the porch at my home or the mechanic that changes the oil in my wife's car both asked my wife with great interest for the latest news about my related scientific papers without me knowing them, I know that 31 Atlas went viral. Okay. Now, what's being said now by certain scientists, but these people aren't really scientists. They're on like the fringe end. So now the scientists are in schism too, and they're arguing because I've read two articles just this morning before I started this. One saying that it's absurd to think that this is bringing alien life, and this other group saying it's definitely bringing alien life. And I want to give my take on that. The alien deception thing in Project Bluebeam, at this point, if they use them, it's going to be for damage control because people are noticing that the people right here on Earth with us look different. They don't look like they used to look. And they seem to be fluid because every time you see them, they look different. But it's not just on the screen. This is people in our daily lives. We've talked about this. I've talked about this. So they're saying that there's this thing called demon syndrome. I think that's what they're going to say. You know, they have to say something sooner or later. The goal, though, is to instigate us to physically harm one another and possibly them because they don't have legal rights. And again, this is how you know people are demonized. They don't have legal rights to start anything with us, to lay hands on us. We have to be the one to initiate that in some way. And I know this because of my own situation when I got pummeled with that door. And if it would have been an accident, I would not have had to pull my head out and almost pull my ear off because he was pushing on it and crushing my head with his foot. Some things are just factual and able to be proven out by logic and reasoning. But some of these things we have to rely on other people to tell us because they have to come up with something for the reason certain things are happening. Now, they say you can't see it unless you have a telescope. So I'm really interested in what it actually, like, what all this arguing then is about because anyways, let's continue on and see what they got to say. It says it's not a trivial matter to get the public interested in the latest scientific research. In recent decades, academia distanced itself from the public. Scientific advances are routinely communicated in press conferences where scientists speak to reporters like teachers in a classroom. They sure do, encouraging questions but resisting debates. Funding is allocated to research directions within echo chambers that are detached from public questioning. That's absolutely correct. NASA, and I don't know about CERN, I'm not sure how they get their funding, but NASA like relies on the public a great deal to get some of its funding and to get things approved. So for them to turn around and deceive us is very underhanded. To do that with your own funds, your own money, the money, paper money that you traded your most valuable currency here, your time for. See it? Do you see? Now that's why I'm talking about this too, is because we have people talking again and questioning things again openly, which is good. Some people at this point, and this young man his channel that I mentioned earlier, some people at this point seem to be soulless. Like there's just nothing there anymore. And I can understand that because it seems like some part of life, some integral spiritual part was taken from us. Like it just feels empty now. I don't know how to explain it. I think there's a lot less people than there used to be, than there should be, and that there ever, was because they lie about the population so much because they want to get our consent to do harm to our own species. What's the matter, buddy? You okay? Here, give me this. Come here. You didn't get her, Chewy, did you? Leave her, Chewy, alone. Lay down. Lay down. Don't go after that or I'll have to pick it up. Okay, sorry, guys. Okay, so we are seeing with our own eyes, I've had people try to tell me, well, it's just electronics, it's just AI, it's just bots giving you troubles. That's not true though, because in person, people are just different and there is some integral part. Now, some people say that the restrainer is the Holy Spirit. I don't know about that. I'm not sure. I feel like an affinity with the Holy Spirit too, because my name means white spirit, white wave, and I did not act out in that way all the time. But I think for every star, there is a person or a being that correlates with that star. And because you hear the stories about Cassiopeia and how she had to hang upside down for half the year, her constellation is upside down. I do get the feeling, and just like the angels, if they fall, like a star from the heavens, and that's what it looks like, is falling stars, to a point. And we do see meteor showers and something going on up there. And we are told, as above, so below, that's true. Like, it might sound cultish and occultish, but we say it in the Lord's Prayer too. As on, let the earth be like it is in heaven. God's will be done. So, as above, so below, right? If there's a war in heaven spiritually, and we are told, if you bind a thing down here, it shall be bound up there. And if you bind a thing up there, it shall be bound down here. And that's again talking about the spirit, because you can't really go around binding people who have free will, but you can bind the spirit of that people, right? This is why the spirit of alcoholism can be in so many people, because it's not an entity in that way. Anyways, moving on. People are now saying, that this is going to bring aliens. And I'm telling you that they, a lot of people, we know about Project Bluebeam. We've heard about it. We've read about it for years. And they even, people in the public, have went and switched to fallen angel, or yeah, aliens are fallen angels. They are demons. Which is interesting to see secular TV and radio talk about these topics that are a part of our faith system. And any other time, we are getting ridiculed for believing in a sky daddy, but it's okay to believe in little green or gray men that come from space to do things to your body while you sleep. That's a cover for what's really going on here. And it is, I'm a woman, so I've seen how this plays out. It does seem to be some type of genetic testing and some type of breeding thing that they're doing with certain people. And it has nothing to do with beings that are out there. They want, and it's interesting too, right? Like, now they want you to look up. Any other time, they don't want us looking up. But now they want you to look up because they don't want you to see what's here with you. But we're getting, even the scientists are debating about that, because half of them are saying this comet could be some type of mothership. I feel weird saying that. That's a weird phrase to me. Is it really an insult to consider a hypothesis in the context of figuring out anomalies regarding the nature of 31 Atlas if the nature of dark matter happens to be a primordial black hole? I think it's black goo. That's how it represents down here. But anyway, oil, that type of thing, blood of the earth. And because we've been so negative, like, it's affected that, just like in the movie Ghostbusters 2 with the plasma, or whatever they called that jelly stuff down there. If the nature of dark matter happens to be a primordial black hole, but for 4 decades, mainstream astronomers argued that it is likely a weakly interacting massive particle, should this suggestion be considered as nonsense on stilts, as an insult to the exciting work going on in understanding this object? Okay, now I feel like this is, I don't want to get involved in an academia discussion. The public lost confidence in mainstream scientists who ridiculed the hypothesis that Rona 19 originated from the Wuhan Institute. Why are you going on about this? That's weird. I don't know what was going on there. All right, so Live Science. Live Science says it's 7 miles wide. It's the largest interstellar object ever seen. Let's check it out. Make sure it comes up on your end. And then we're going to go to the Kachina, because I have information on that is really lovely, I think. I mean, if you can call prophecy like that lovely. New photos from the Vera C. Rubin Observatory. It's the largest of its kind. Now, I saw a blue picture of it. Let me find it. It says a new study uploaded on July 17th to the preprint server. Stop it. I said wait. Oh, heavens. Okay. It won't load. It won't stay loaded. Well, that's lovely. Hold on. I'm going to pull something else up because that's giving me problems. Let me make sure it works. We can go to the blue and red Kachina and then hit that up again after if it's working. I'm going to stop just a sec. Okay. That website is not loading and it's giving me problems. So I don't want to mess around with it really. There we go. All right, I'm going to pull up something that I got. Now this is life science again. Is this going to do the same thing? Probably. I'll get rid of it. Hold, please. I'm in my mailbox so I can grab my my research to myself from myself. And there's something else too that I found interesting about this. Oh. Now, this says there's a few. Where I'm at now, let me go ahead and share the screen. There we go. And this. I don't know why those other things are coming up because I have them pulled up. Okay, so it says, when was C 2025 K1 Atlas discovered? That's a different one. Hold on. Now here. Comet in late October, early November. C 2025 A6 Lemon. Which is interesting. It's spelled with two M's. It's spelled wrong because of course it is. Perihelion, November 8th. Closest approach to Earth at the end of October. Now this is also at the same time that Atlas is supposed to be closest to the sun, I think, or closest to the Earth and the sun. So at the end of October 2025, Comet Lemon, reminds me of John Lennon, will pass as close as 0.6 to Earth, conveniently positioned in the evening sky for observers in the northern hemisphere. In October and November, the comet might reach a magnitude of about 8 and become visible through binoculars. There's also a chance that C 2025 will become even brighter, as such comets tend to brighten significantly near perihelion. Let's keep our fingers crossed. I thought that was interesting that they are both going to be close to the Earth at the same time. Now, let's bring up, if I can, I'm going to show you guys a nice website. I think it's nice. I hope you'll like it too. I'm going to share this tab instead. Make sure you guys can see it. Now, the website, it says, God is the red pill, spirit magi. Oh. Anyways, though, I think the information here is needed and I think it's lovely. So let's see if it. Let's try that again. There we go. And there it is. I think it's a nice site. I hope you guys like it too. Ooh. Come on. Why is it showing black? What is happening? Why is it doing that? Hold on, guys. I'm seeing it, but I'm not seeing it. There it is. Okay. Sometimes you have to refresh your screens. Note to self, too. All right, so you guys can see it. That's good. We're going to look at it. Oh, heavens, where did it go? Huh. There we go. Story of the blue Kachina and the red Kachina. Now, I know people have talked about this before, and it sometimes happens when there's a comet in the sky and it's red or blue. We look at this. I think it's needed because iPet Goat 2 has the little guy doing the dance and he's wearing the mask, right? And the mask changes and the dance changes also. But check out this guy here. Does that not remind you, if you've seen iPet Goat 2? I'm sure you have. So many people have done breakdowns on it. I don't know if I think I did a whole video on it because somebody asked me, but I also did just an upload of some information about, I think it was the mask I talked about. But this is the same guy, I believe, that they're showing in my iPet Goat 2 doing the dances and the rituals. I thought that was really interesting, that correlation. So it says, in the final days, we will look up in our heavens and we will witness the return of the two brothers who helped create this world in the birthing time. Papa Gaioa, I hope that's right, is the guardian of our North Pole, and his brother, Palangolaya, is the guardian of the South Pole. In the final days, the blue star Kachina will come to be with his nephews, and they will return the Earth to its natural rotation, which is counterclockwise. Hold, please. Okay, so how can we even listen to this if it's not talking about a flat Earth, if you're a flat earther? I don't know if you are. I'm just saying. I believe there's a round thing around it. I believe the firmament is the round thing around it, and itself is like a flat disc on the inside of it, like a pancake. Just my opinion. So if it does rotate, it could rotate that way. I once saw Les Miserables live in Pittsburgh, and to show the passage of time in a play, like visually, they had a wheel in the stage, in the bottom, like in the ground, so that at the end of certain acts, the actors would be on that wheel and it would turn. And as it's turning, they would change your age or something would happen to change it. And then when they came back around, you would see that, 5 years had passed, 10 years had passed, whatever it was. So that's one way that it actually could rotate. And the spiral theme, and again, I love when people dirty, you can't look at everything as dirty, okay? I don't care who uses what symbol. Certain symbols don't mean just that. And they want our heads in a certain place. They want you to think about PDF files because they know it makes you angry. And they want you to dwell in either anger or fear, one or the other. This is where they want you. You have to not react and be reactive. I know, because after I first got hurt and I saw my family as they really were, I was reactively angry and I would yell at my like, just tell me the truth. What is going on? Why are you doing this? You're going to hurt yourself by hurting me, type of thing. But they want you constantly in that place. They want you constantly either fearing, and if you're not the type of person that gets afraid, well, then they want you angry because you won't look at what you really need to be looking at or living how you should really be living. And that's kind of what this video is about. Now, I saw images, which again, I don't want to be pulling up all these images right at this moment. You can go look on your own. I saw images of the 30, what is it? 8031 or 31? I can't even remember now. 31 Atlas comet. And it looks red. There's an article attached to it too, red, blue, and green. Now, other people have talked about also, I think RFB did a video last night about the alien angle on this, about now even scientists are saying that this could be carrying alien life. Again, certain beings have always been here. So in the final days, they will return the Earth to its natural rotation and we don't know exactly what that means. I watched this man on YouTube. He's wise. He's very wise, and I find it interesting that they attached Christianity to this because the Hopi red star versus blue star symbolism, or red versus blue. Okay, so you have the red star, the Hopi prophecy, and then you have, see the symbol in the middle? See that? This? Four corners, it could mean. With the dots in it, I don't know, but I know Slender Man hijacked that that symbol. And I also know it is in the Hebrew alphabet. Is it Tav? I might be wrong. Please don't quote me on that. Anyways, and they have blue star Kachina, which they're showing as Christ, which is interesting. Does that say the blue star will come to be with his nephew, or is it the red? Yeah, the blue star Kachina will come to be with his nephews, and they will return the earth to its natural rotation. It also means your natural state of life, because we're at a point here where everybody's going to have to make a choice. Do you want this technology in your life forever, or are you going to walk the other way? Because I feel at this point, they were showing us something when that story came out about people's pagers blowing up and hurting people over there in I can't remember what nation it was, but they were at war. One of the sides that was at war got hurt by these pagers that exploded. That's showing us something. The Apple products, that's why I never had an Apple. I have one right now because I couldn't get anything else. But the Apple products, people were ending themselves to the point where the company had to have nets outside of the building for people to fall into. So we are coming to a time where technology has greatly affected our lives. And it's time to either decide to dwell with that or go back to reading books and really to go back to growing your own food, putting your hands in the dirt. And people are like, well, I don't have land, this, that, or the other. There's so much land out there. Again, I feel like the TV controls our minds. Like that is the government. That is what's policing us, is the screens. That is what's bringing us to behavior modification. I think Sammy was dreaming. And again, this might not be a popular angle on this topic, but it's the one I'm going with because you'll see right here. So this is by Chief Dan Evahema, Hopi traditional caretaker. The story of the Blue Kachina is a very old story, very old. I've been aware of the story of the Blue Kachina since I was very young. I was told this story by grandfathers who are now between 80 and 108 years of age. Frank Waters also wrote about Sasquatch Wasua, the blue star Kachina, in the Book of the Hopi. The story came from Grandfather Dan, the oldest Hopi, and they're relating the blue Kachina to Christ. And look, there you got the spiral. So the spiral, what does it mean other than stands for PDF files now or something like that in the public? Spirals constitute time travel sometimes, but they also constitute the passage of time, the Fibonacci sequence, the shell. I actually have one right over there. The shell, you see it in the shell, you see it in the ear, you see it in the pregnant woman. You know this probably. It could stand for time travel, but it also stands for time and how time actually moves, I think, and how we move through that. That's my opinion thus far. My mind could change on that. It was told to me that first the blue Kachina would start of be seen at the dances. Okay, so again, this man is speaking broken English. This is the instead of watching the video, this is like the transcript. So it was told to me that first the blue Kachina would start to be seen at the dances and would make his appearance known to the children in the plaza during the night. This event would tell us that end times are very near. Then the blue star Kachina would physically appear in our heavens, which would mean that we were in the end times. So again, you get that idea of something heavenly also correlating to a person or a being down here on the earth. There's always an echo, it seems. And and a parallel. So you see the movement of time there, and they're going to explain. In the final days, we will look up in our heavens and we will witness the return of the two brothers who helped create this world in the birthing time. Some people call these beings Enlil and Enki, some cultures. Poga Goya is the guardian of our North Pole, and his brother, Palong Oya, is the guardian of the South Pole. In the final days, the blue star Kachina will come to be with his nephews, and they will return the Earth to its natural rotation, which is clockwise. Do they say it rotates counterclockwise? Anyway, when the heavenlies do a thing, it affects us too down here. The moon, phases of the moon affect the tide. It also affects a woman's body. Physiologically, biologically, it affects her body as well. So we know this. We know that things in the sky that are heavenly correlate to beings down here oftentimes. Now, you see this spiral, and if I go back up, I want to remind you, this is why you need to watch the whole video if you have time, and not say, well, why'd you do this? Or why didn't you do this? Well, I did. It says that they will do a dance in the heavens, and that's how you know that the end times are near. It was told to me that the blue Kachina would start to be seen at the dances. So in the sky, and would make his appearance known to the children in the plaza during the night dance. Or maybe that's down here. This event would tell us the end times are near. Okay, yeah, then the blue star Kachina would physically appear in our heavens, which would mean we were in the end times. Huh. Well, what are the dances? In the final days, but again, it reminds me of that diagram we were just looking up about how the stars, rotate around the earth, how they kind of dance. In the final days, we will look up in our heavens and we will witness the return of the two brothers, and they will return it to its natural rotation. And it says, all direction is curved, all motion is spiral, which is kind of present. If you were a kid and you ever played with a top, gosh, that's so old, and you probably don't know what that means. You'd spin a toy on the ground and it would keep spinning. It reminds me of a heliocentric Earth, because I believe that the Earth itself is like a pancake, but the firmament is round around us in the waters, okay? Which makes me wonder. The law generating matter seeks higher pressure zones, expanding centrifugal orbit of radiation, exothermal orbit is what this guy is saying right here, and discharging either negative or positive. Negative over positive. Okay, yeah. Negative over positive. Electric endothermal orbit. And it's going in the opposite direction. Okay. Exothermal or heat liberating. Electric orbit, endothermal or heat absorbing. Contracting centripetal orbit of generation. Interesting. The law radiating matter seeks lower pressure zones. The law generating matter seeks higher pressure zones. So is that like Christ and the other one? Black and white, the yin yang. Translation, things gaining light go up. Things radiating more light than they gain go down. Okay, so this is a spiritual concept. This is kind of esoteric, so think about it. Things gaining light go up. If you are absorbing light and you are becoming light, right, in your center, in your being, then you will go up, you will rise up. Things radiating more light than they gain, because they're putting out, right? They're giving all this energy, go down. That's kind of why Christ came down, to go back up, right? Things that go down, go back up. Interesting. So let's keep going. This fact is evidenced in many petroglyphs that speak of the zodiac, and within the Mayan and Egyptian pyramids. The rotation of the earth has been manipulated by not so benevolent star beings. The twins will be seen in our northwestern skies. They will come and visit to see who still remembered the original teachings. flying in the Padavatas, or flying shields, they will bring many of their star family with them in the final days. Interesting. So that is the star people. That would be the angelic holy beings that are up there. The return of the blue star Kachina, who is also known as Nan Ga Sohu, will be the alarm clock that tells us of the new day and the new way of life, a new world that is coming. So they believe that there are 4 ages, right? And that this one we're in right now is the ending of the 3rd and the beginning of the 4th, I think. I could be wrong. It could be end of the 4th. And then we're a new beginning thing. That's not a big deal, though, because we're going to look at something else, too. Okay. They will come to see who remembered the original teachings. What does that mean? Planting, growing, building, working with these things, but not doing work that will bring you joy. You might not think it will, but it will, because that's what we're created to do. And then when you have excess time, you get into this debate mindset. You get into this, let's constantly quarrel, let's debate, let's gossip. You get this too much free time is not a good thing. Anyways, the return of the blue star Kachina, who's also known as Nanga Sohu, will be the alarm clock that tells us of the new day and the new way of life, a new world that is coming. This is where the changes will begin. They will start as fires that burn within us. Am I being gaslighted again? I said that like 2 videos ago, because I wrote it in my journal too about God. That's weird. I did say that. If you're a regular here, I said that like 2 streams ago. Bizarre that it keeps happening. I'm going to share that young man's channel too. You guys can go over and show him a little love. But there are people talking, younger people our age. Pinned in the comment section is a video with the man speaking the same way. He is my age probably. There's going to be, a way to go, and people don't want to give their devices away. They don't want to give them up. Why do you think they were finding so many devices that were coming out of like the ocean and stuff? Divers were finding things like that, and GoPros, when we didn't have them yet. Like nobody's paying attention to the right things. And then you have people saying now, well, we didn't have AI then. Man, if you don't get it yet, that they've always been here, they've always watched us, this is what they do. Okay? And God allows it because he lets it work to our advantage in the end. Okay, anyways. They will start as fires that burn within us, and we will burn up with desires and conflict if we do not remember the original teachings and return to the peaceful way of life. I think this part right here is key. This really hits, man. They will start as fires that burn within us, and we will burn up with desires and conflict if we do not remember the original teachings. So what does that mean? Burn up with desires and conflict. Real protests that are real, with real angry people, not just people filming to show you something on the screen, like actual, again, people are already cold-hearted and their souls are already being affected by things, obviously. So what is the next step in that evolution? Reprobate. And when you're reprobate, I saw a video, I can't believe I'm gonna like repeat this, but I saw a video the other day that was shared of a young man that got arrested. He was in a shop. He was in a Starbucks, I think that's where it started. And he was following these 2 girls. He kind of targeted them. And they were normal girls. Like they weren't dressed overtly sexy or anything. They were just 2 girls hanging out, getting a coffee. This guy puts his hand down his pants and starts to pleasure himself right there in front of everyone. Everyone. Like that's the state people are getting to. You're going to hear these stories more, unfortunately. I hate to say that. but it is seeming to be true. We will burn up with desires and conflict, this fire that's within us, if we don't satisfy it the way that it's meant to be satisfied, which is returning to older ways and more peaceful ways, of like communal living, tribal living, and being pacifists, we will end up on the reprobate end. And you see already that the society as a whole is very bipolar right now. And they call it something else in the secular world. I forget the term they're using now, but everything is either yes or no, black or white. There is no middle ground. And that's why everybody wants you to do what they say. They wanted me to vote for Trump. They kept trying to push me and pressure me to vote for him, because you watch, everyone that voted for him, they're going to start persecuting because of some of the things that he is doing. If they think you follow him, you're going to be a target. And again, I see it happen. All these things are coming and kind of, already happening. So burning up with desires, that is because you're not satisfying that spiritual passion that is inside of you. You're just not, you don't know what it is, right? You're unhappy, you're unsatisfied, you don't know what's wrong, you don't know what's missing. So you try everything to try and fill that void, or to squelch that fire. And right now, it does kind of feel that way. I just said this the other day that I was on fire for God. It's like burning me up lately. Like I really just want people to know God loves them and don't hurt anybody else, because you have daddy God issues, both, mommy issues or whatever. And that's what we're seeing come home to roost, is a lot of past behaviors and things that happened. A lot of people are mad because people were locked up that they didn't think should be locked up. And so now they want their persecutors to be locked up. And so you have several groups that are targets right now. This is coming from that place inside that's not being satisfied. So it says, not far behind the twins will come the purifier. This is very interesting. The red star Kachina. Not far behind the twins will come the purifier. Well, wait a second. I thought Anyway, the red star Kachina is the purifier who will bring the day of purification. On this day, the earth, her creatures, and all life as we know it will change forever. Now, do I believe this? I kind of do. If you read between the lines, this has a lot in common with the book of Revelation. It's written different, and I'm sure in their own language or with their own symbols and stories, it would be a little more eloquent or beautiful, but English isn't it doesn't make things look very beautiful. My allergies have been terrible. So the red star Kachina is the purifier who will bring a day of purification. On this day, the earth, her creatures, and all life as we know it will change forever. There will be messengers that will precede this coming of the purifier. They will leave messages to those on earth who remember the old ways. Huh. So you mean to tell me messengers, aka angels, that will precede this coming of the purifier, they will leave messages to those on earth who remember the old ways. So the old ways are more, sounds like it's more than just planting though. Interesting. It might be something spiritual as well. The message will be found written in the living stone. That reminds me of Mud Fossil and what he's proving. He's proving out his theory now. And it's lovely to see, because he's older and his channel deserves the recognition, because he has gone through all the proper research steps and hypotheses and laying it out and gathering the sources to prove what he thought about the giants and their body parts being some of our, what do I want to call them? Stones and boulders and rocks and formations and whatnot. Okay. So there will be messengers that will leave messages. That's interesting. So if you're a planter, you're a gardener, keep your eyes open. If you are someone who teaches others, how to pray or to remember God, or, before you're eating, you're praying, you're giving thanks, because that's what Native Americans did as well. They didn't just slaughter animals to slaughter them. They did it because they used every part of the animal, and then they, before they touched it again, though, they raised up the spirit, they thanked the spirit, they sent the spirit off to be with the other ones, and it's a beautiful thing to watch. I don't remember where I saw it. Anyways, they thank God, and then they thank the earth, Mother Earth, if you want to call it that, and they thank God for all of that, right? And they thank the spirit of the animal for being sustenance for them. That's a beautiful way to be. We should aspire to, and if you are one of those ones who's empty inside or you feel empty inside, start doing certain acts of gratitude and see if it softens your heart a little. You have to cooperate with the process or it could end up destroying you. We're obviously at the end of something, because even people who aren't religious or spiritual are talking about seeing and noticing changes in people and physiological changes too. I think I didn't turn on a light, so it feels dark to me. Anyways, it says, all this is really wild. The messages will be found written in the living stone, through the sacred grains, and even the waters. That is wild. Crop circles have been found in ice. Huh. That's a neat little addition there. I think crop circles are caused by cymatics. I don't think it's radiation at all. I think it's sound frequency. I think it's cymatics doing it, because we watch all the water tests that they do. I forget what they call them now, with the grains of rice or with the sand or with the water, and how it changes based on the frequency, but it's always a symmetrical pattern. I think that's how they're doing it, is with cymatics. Anyways, that's a whole nother topic. The messages will be found written in the living stones, through the sacred grains, and even on the waters. From the purifier will issue forth a great red light. All things will change in their manner of being. Every living thing will be offered the opportunity to change from the largest to the smallest thing. Hold, please. This makes me think of a video that I did, and I mention it from time to time on the original channel, but it wasn't a video just I did. Another woman did one that was the same title almost in everything. And it wasn't gaslighting, stalking, it wasn't anything like that. We uploaded them almost at the same time too. It was very strange. A woman in Chicago, and I can't find her channel again, but I really like her. She knew her Bible, and she always read from that Bible. And she was a little older. She was a woman of color, and she knew her Bible. And she always did it right from her dining room. It wasn't fancy or nothing like that. But she and I both said it was like the spirits of people had played musical chairs. Like they had just swapped with each other, because now my son behaves more like my husband used to behave, right? And so that's interesting. So you get to choose your form according to this. What would you be? You guys should comment on that. If you can actually change your form, what would you want to change to? But it might be a forever thing, so be very careful. But would you change if offered that opportunity? I would, but I'd still be a human being. I would just be a healthier, maybe a little chunkier human being. More muscular. And not too muscular, just enough. Anyway, that's wild to me. Every living thing will be offered the opportunity to change from the largest to the smallest thing. Would you be an animal or would you be a person? I don't know. I might be a person with wings. Like, if you can change to anything you could imagine, I'd want to have like maybe wings on the back of my feet, like just little ones. And then I'd like wings on my back, but not ginormous ones, because I'm clumsy. I would fall over them all the time. Right? Just enough. Just enough, because I really, flying's cool. Like, I can see wanting to fly. Anyways, those who return to the ways given to us in the original teachings and live a natural way of life will not be touched by the coming of the purifier. I actually agree with that. If you look into Catholic prophecies, women have also been told of situations that are very similar to that. They don't say you can change to whatever you want, but they do say that if you aren't in a certain state, like you will be greatly affected by like when the moon turns to sackcloth again and goes away, or the blood moon, like that might greatly affect you. But there's this illumination of conscience and 3 days of darkness. Now, it seems to me they had something similar to that when Christ was crucified. So again, you're seeing all these symbolisms that are mirroring, right? So they're kind of inverted and backwards and upside down. I feel like we all went through somehow we went through Alice's mirror, and we are on the other side now. Like nobody knows how to spell. And I'm not being mean. I'm these younger ones that are doing a lot of this, like they all spell their name wrong, and they all say, "Well, I'm not that person anymore." And it's like, okay, like they admit to it, some of them. It's wild. Okay. It is important to understand. Oh, those who return to the ways given to us in the original teachings and live a natural way of life will not be touched. They will survive and build the new world. Only in the ancient teachings will the ability to understand the messages be found. Only in the ancient teachings will the ability to understand the messages. Okay, so if you're talking like that, only in the ancient teachings will the ability to understand the messages be found. Well, you say, well, what ancient teachings? The Sumerians, the Christians, the pagans, the Norsemen, the Icelanders, the I don't know, sailors. Like, who are you going to listen to? Well, if we're dealing with God, and I don't think I know his mind will all the time, but I think I know his attributes a little bit. God will give everyone access. Everyone, that's why I hate when, the atheists say, well, what about the kid in the tribe, in the, never seen or whatever? God finds a way. Like, you're not hidden from God. He's going to bring you what you need when you need it. It doesn't matter where you're at. So having, that thought process, no matter where you're at, you're going to have access to this and to the ability to say yes or no to these ancient teachings. So the ancient teachings would probably be scripture, Chinese proverbs, maybe, probably Sumerian texts and Egyptian texts as well. Because as much as people say they're pagan, the stuff that they do and say about is true. But they're lacking Christ. They don't have but Christ was not the savior yet, and in the old times, Old Testament times, it was different before there was a savior, and it was a little darker because you're like, well, the afterlife, there's nothing there. I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm going to, go to the river Styx, and it wasn't a very pleasing thought. Anyways, so it says that only in the ancient teachings will the ability to understand these new messages that are being sent be found. I wonder if I've seen any. It is important to understand that these messages will be found, upon every living thing, even within our bodies. So our DNA too. Interesting. Even within a drop of our blood. All life forms will receive the messages from the twins, those that fly, the planets, or the plants, and even the rabbit. The appearance of the twins begins a period of 7 years. 7 years, which will be our final opportunity to change our ways. Everything we experience is all a matter of choice. 7 years, 7 years, 7-year tribulation, right? I personally think something's going on there, but we have like the times of Jacob's trouble and stuff too that's supposed to come before the tribulation, and after the tribulation you have the actual wrath of God, which is different. Like that, almost nobody will be here for. I'm pretty sure, if my understanding is correct, human beings aren't for the wrath of God. That's going to come down on the ones who initiated all this, and that's the fallen. And God's going to let us help sort that out, because don't you know, you shall judge the very angels. But you got to get through this bit first. So let's read that again. So these messages that are brought in this time can only be understood, number one, if you know the ancient teachings and understand those. Okay. It is important to understand that these messages will be found upon every living thing, even within our bodies, even within a drop of our blood. All life forms will receive the messages from the twins. So people like me who say they're getting downloads or they're talking to God or they're listening to their spirit. And this is why I don't do a lot on the technology like V2K and the voice of God and those things. I feel like, follow me for a second. I feel like they want to hide God, right? And so I feel like they're shifting the credit towards technology when it really is God doing this. Okay. He's initiated these things in the angels, in us. All of it comes from, he is the source of all life and light and truth, right? So everyone will receive the messages. They're on every living thing. Is it your DNA? Is it, what is it? Even within our bodies, even within a drop of our blood. So it's saying something will happen. That's what I'm thinking of, is when people talk about getting these downloads, that's what kind of hits me there. Messages will be found upon every living thing. The appearance of the twins begins a 7-year period, which will be our final opportunity to change our ways. Everything we experience is all a matter of choice. And I did a video on this because there's been strange things in the sky for years now that are just different. Many will appear to have lost their souls. Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes. Didn't I just say that in this video? Many will appear to have lost their souls in these final days. So intense will the nature of the changes be that those who are weak in spiritual awareness will go insane. For we are nothing without spirit. Who do you see that's insane right now? Who do you see? One of the channels I'm subscribed to that I really like, but I disagree with some of the things that they post, but they post a lot of shared stuff. Unnatural affection. In the end days, people will lose and they will have no natural affection. Unnatural affection is the rainbow hijackers, and I'm sorry, but that's what it is. And that's one of the, I think that's I think some of it's a mental thing, and I think it's sad, and I think it comes from the top down. And I think a lot of these people have a right to be mad that they were harmed as children, and so on and so forth. That's one way. The other way is what you're consuming. And I've talked about Soylent Green ad nauseum. I've even shown you a prophecy from the book of Baruch. In the end days, there will be a cannibalism curse upon mankind, a certain group of mankind. Okay. So, and that makes people go nuts. I don't care what anyone says, it does. Now, and the actual like disease when it makes you shake and stuff, that is called Kuru. Kuru. Now, I saw an ad for a shoe company that is called Kuru. You can't make it up. I mean, people just, it's just bad. It's all in bad taste. Here it says they will disappear, for they are just hollow vessels for anything to use. So these people without spirit, so are those NPCs too? They will disappear, for they are just hollow vessels for anything to use. That's interesting. Life will be so bad in the cities that many will choose to leave this plane, some in whole groups. Haven't I said that from time to time, that it feels like a bunch of people are just gone now? And I also think this is why some people here are descending. When you have a big group of people and they are peppered throughout society, they're sprinkled like fairy dust, and they're all just wholesome, right? Just wholesome people. It uplifts the whole society like a string of lights. But when that string of lights goes out, it gets dark again. I feel like this is true. Like some people have up and decided with each other, hey, let's leave this plane. I don't know exactly how you do it, but I think they have. And life will be so bad in cities. That right there is groups of people talking about ending themselves, right? And we're seeing that. We just saw it. I think I shared a story about a group of people that did it, but I can't remember where it was. Okay, so only those who return to the values of the old ways will be able to find peace of mind. Right, because I'm at that point. I don't watch the news. I've not had cable in years. I scroll through to see like what's current and what's going on in the world. But for the most part, I don't mess with current things like that. And it also helps me in my spirit hold my discernment. So the second I do read something, I'm like, well, that's false. You just know it either resonates as truth, it rings true from your internal truth detecting bell, or it doesn't and it bounces off you and it feels bad, right? Lies and deception, it has a bad resonance, like a bad vibration. And you can feel that just like you do with music. Just because there isn't a melody to it doesn't mean it's not going to affect your body. That's one way to know if somebody's deceiving you. If you're not, if you don't have spiritual discernment yet, look at how it affects your body. So, for in the earth we shall find relief from the madness that will be all around us. It would be a very hard time. Okay, so I'm wondering about this too, because it says, for in the earth. For in the earth we shall find we shall find relief from the madness that will be all around us. And it says return to the old ways. Only those who survive, only those who return to the old ways will survive. What if that means their mud huts and stuff and their um houses in the cliffs, right? They're up in the cliffs. There's really not a lot of light that gets in there. If they wanted to do stuff, they would come down and do them as groups down here, down below. I could bring that up if you guys want to see it. Or I could, you know what I'll do? I'll look for a picture of like a Hopi reservation or the Hopi, they have a little thing where they let you go, I think. I think I've looked at it before because I just really want to go to the desert and see all these places. I'll use it as the thumbnail for this video. So many will appear to have lost their soul. So intense will the nature of the changes be that those that are in weak spiritual awareness will go insane, for we are nothing without spirit. They will disappear, for they are just hollow vessels for anything to use. Oh, that's kind of sad. Life will be so bad in the cities that many will choose to leave this plane, some in whole groups. So they're saying people in the cities are going to end up ending themselves en masse in groups. Only those who return to the values of the old ways will be able to find peace of mind. For in the earth we shall find relief from the madness that will be all around us. It will be a very hard time for women with children, for they will be shunned. But why would women with children be shunned? Wouldn't people want to protect women and children in these times? The Bible also says this, that women who are newly mothers, who are nursing or who are pregnant, will have a hard time, but it's very vague. And I'm wondering about the children themselves. Is this why? And many of the children in these times will be unnatural. Didn't I just bring a word from God not too long ago? And it included something along those lines about how there isn't any innocence left here. Some beings from the stars, some from past. Well, this is interesting. So they go on to explain okay, let me read that again. It will be a very hard time for women with children, for they will be shunned, and many of the children in these times will be unnatural, some being from the stars, some from past worlds, some will even be created by man in an unnatural manner and will be soulless. What is an unnatural manner? And it doesn't, everybody wants to go straight to like cryptids and stuff, but what else? IVF. That's probably why Trump approved it, because Guy is not right. That is not the old Trump. And the old Trump I could not tolerate greatly, but he did seem to do all right for the country. But this dude ain't that dude. It's not the same guy. And now it's okay to discuss religion at work. That all that's going to do is make people argue, or it's going to make people targets. I don't think this is good at all. Like, it's just things that sometimes look good on the surface end up not being good decisions, you know? So many of the children will be soulless because they were created in an unnatural manner. Many of the people in this time will be empty in spirit. They will have sampaku, no life force in their eyes. I know people like that now. They don't have, like, there's just that shine that used to be there is gone. Many of the people in this time will be empty in spirit. As we get close to the time of the arrival of the purifier, there will be those who walk as ghosts through the cities. Through canyons they will have constructed in their man-made mountains. Those that walk through these places will be very heavy in their walk. It will appear almost painful as they take each step, for they will be disconnected from the spirit and the earth. Wow. They're man-made. Through canyons they have constructed, listen to this, in their man-made mountains. Through canyons they have constructed in their man-made mountains. Interesting. Those that walk through these places will be very heavy in their walk. It will appear almost painful as they take each step, for they will be disconnected. That's sad. That makes me feel bad. See, doesn't that remind you of iPet Go too? Completely. I think the whole iPet Go 2 is about the end of days, and it's primarily about the red Kachina and blue Kachina. After the arrival of the twins, they will begin to vanish before your eyes like so much smoke. What, people will? That's weird. Others will have great deformities, both in the mind and upon their bodies. Oh, no. Oh, sorry. Kind of grossed me out. There will be those who would walk in the body that are not from this reality. Shut up, man. I've talked about all this stuff, and I've never read this part. I've never read from this site and this person's words explaining it. We always went to, and I have it in my email, another site, but it's like a tribal site, and everything's very technical and educational looking. It's not like this. This is interesting. But what do I mean by that? Is this a lie and that one's true? No, the other one's just written more. This one's easier to understand. The other one's more like scholastic, if that makes sense. And so I figured this would flow better on a YouTube video than the scholastic academia type of thing. Okay, moving on. This is wild because we, Pockets of the Future, did a video years ago in 2018 when all this started. Or I would have never seen it because I don't watch award shows, where Tom Hanks got up to receive an award. It was the year before Corona. I think it was 2018, that big year. And he got up to take his award. And at the end, he said, "The gate is open. The gate is open." And Charlize's there and like almost went to the ground. I don't know if she was laughing and trying not to, like, she freaked out. And so many people postulated over what he meant by that. And I've talked ad nauseum about there being, and I can't say how I know this, you don't have to believe it if you don't want to, about there being protective measures taken in the state parks that kept certain things, certain elements away from the human eye and out of our safe zone. Okay? Native Americans that are older, that practice these old ways, have passed away. And nobody else did a protective measure around these places. That's one of the reasons you're seeing what's happening today is happening. When things are moved in your house and this and that and the other, everybody thinks spirit means invisible. Yeah, that's what it means, but it doesn't mean that it can't interact and it can't do things. And just like the Invisible Man, if you could spray something in the air, you'd be able to see its form. I don't know what that, some people say it's vinegar, that vinegar works. Like if you spray it, you can see certain things and it gets rid of, neutralizes the effects of chemtrails, but I don't know, don't quote me on that. But I know certain people around me really, really dislike it, like extremely. And they also don't like lavender. And so that's why I burn lavender incense. My lavender plant outside died. I left it outside on the porch thinking it'll be okay out here. Nobody don't know. Nobody will see it. Anyways, I told you about that, about lavender and some of these beings. And also that agreement that Eisenhower made with the alleged aliens, saying that they could take certain people from society, just make sure, like you can only take a certain number. You can't take, them if they're from this age to this age. If they're a new mom, if they're a family person, you can't take any of those. But if it's a loner, oh, you can take them. You can take the people that are solo. I forget what the agreement's called. It escapes me right now, but I did a video on that too. So you have that thing ending, and you have these measures, these protective measures, these rituals that old Native Americans did around the borders of these parks are now open. And I've talked about this a lot. It says, oh no, after the arrival of the twins, they will begin to vanish before your eyes like so much smoke. Others will have great deformities, both in the mind and their bodies. There will be those who would walk in the body that are not from this reality. For many of the gateways, that's why I just told you that Tom Hanks story, many of the gateways that once protected us will be opened. There will be much confusion between sexes. Interesting, because that could be me and another man, or me and myself, right? And children and their elders. And that's true. That is very true. I'm proof of that. There's plenty of videos of estranged moms whose children are not speaking with them, and they don't understand why. They know they weren't great, but they know they weren't the worst either. Kind of like, it happens. But it's happening now in, staggering numbers. Okay. So I had never read this before. I just want you to know that. To see that there is interesting. Many of the gateways are open. Life will get very perverted, and there will be little social order in these times. Many will ask for the mountains themselves to fall upon them just to end their misery. Makes me wonder sometimes, did they just read the Bible and put it in their own words? Or, hopefully the Hopi are the ones that did this. Still others will appear as if untouched by what is occurring. The ones who remember the original teachings and have reconnected their hearts and spirits, those who remember their mother and father, is the Pahana, who have left to live in the mountains and the forest. Pahana. Those who have left to live in the mountains and the forest. Oh, please let me have that courage. Interesting. When the purifier comes, we will see him first as a small red star, which will come very close and sit in our heavens watching us. Everyone says it's Venus, but I swear that's not Venus. Anyways, watching us to see how well we have remembered the sacred teachings. But I don't know what those are. What if you weren't taught them? But it says many will. See, I'm wondering if it comes with like these download types of things. Pray and ask to remember the sacred teachings. Is it just planting? What else is it? This purifier will show us many miraculous signs in our heavens, and this way we will know Creator is not a dream. Even those who do not feel their connection to Spirit will see the face of Creator across the sky. Things unseen will be felt very strongly. That sounds like revival a little bit, doesn't it? Are we going to have revival in the midst of the world ending? Well, the age ending. Many things will begin to occur that will not make sense, for reality will be shifting in and out of the dream state. Oh my gosh. Doesn't that sound like all of us talking lately? Like, doesn't feel real. What's going on here? Why is this happening? This is something I'd seen. This is like a nightmare. I'm sorry. This is funny to me. I mean, not funny in that way. It's just ironically funny. There will be many doorways to the lower world that will be open at this time. Things long forgotten will come back to remind us of our past creations. Things long forgotten will come back to remind us of our past creations. Interesting. All living things will want to be present for this day when time ends, and we enter the forever cycle of the fifth world. Okay, so this is the fourth world to them, according to the Hopi. And we enter the forever cycle of the fifth world. That sounds fun. Let's do that. We will receive many warnings allowing us to change our ways from below the earth as well as below. Then one morning, in a moment, we will awaken to the red dawn. That's something I haven't heard anyone else talk about. Like I would swear it's not a dream. and that several years ago, it would have had to have been like 2017 or 16, maybe 18, maybe the beginning of 2018. On the news, like, and again, I don't watch news, but I see clips of the news and stuff. There were people on the roof in LA and the sky was red and it was very like misty in front of them. And there were Asian folks on the roofs asking for help. Now, because they didn't know what was happening, they thought the world was ending. And I never saw anything else about it. Nobody else ever said anything about it. But it made me think of that. And the movie Red Dawn. The sky will be the color of blood. Many things will then begin to happen that right now we are not sure of their exact nature. For much of reality will not be as it is now. Many things will begin to happen that right now we are not sure of their exact nature. Okay, so he's saying all they know, like they can't tell you like what's gonna like exact because they just know it's gonna be the opposite of what reality is. There will be many strange beasts upon the earth in those days, some from the past and some that we have never seen. Dragons. Dragons from the past. The nature of mankind will appear strange in these times when we walk between worlds, and we will house many spirits even within our bodies. After a time, we will again walk with our brothers from the stars and rebuild the earth, but not until the purifier has left his mark upon the universe. No living thing will go untouched here or in the heavens. The way through this time, it is said, is to be found in our hearts and reuniting with our spiritual self, getting simple and returning to living with and upon the earth and in harmony with her creatures, remembering that we are the caretakers. Sorry, my ring light just went up. The fire keepers of the spirit. Our relatives from the stars are coming home to see how well we have fared on our journey. The fourth world shall end soon, and the fifth world will begin. This the elders everywhere knew. The signs over many years have been fulfilled, and so few are left. All right, so it's going to tell us what the signs are. This is the first sign. We are told of the coming of the white-skinned men like Pahana, but not living like Pahana men who took the land that was not theirs, and men who struck their enemies with thunder. That would be people from Europe coming over. This is the second sign. Our lands will be coming of spinning wheels filled with voices. Our lands will see the coming of spinning wheels filled with voices. In his youth, my father saw this prophecy come true with his eyes, the white men bringing their families and wagons across the prairies. This is the third stage. A strange beast like a buffalo, but with great long horns, will overrun the land in large numbers. These white feathers saw with his eyes the coming of the white men's cattle. This is the fourth sign. The land will be crossed by snakes of iron. That would be the railroad, right? This is the fifth sign. The land shall be crisscrossed by a giant spider's web. That's the internet. How much you want to bet? Web. This is the sixth sign. The land shall be crisscrossed with rivers of stone that make pictures in the sun. Rivers of stone. Because it made me think of Stonehenge, but that make pictures in the sun. The seventh sign, you will hear of the sea turning black and many living things dying because of it. BP oil spill. But what is 6? I make pictures in the sun. Rivers of stone that make pictures in the sun. That one's different. I don't get it. Maybe somebody else will know. You will see many youth who wear their hair long like my people come and join the tribal nations to learn their ways and wisdom. And this is the ninth and last sign. You will hear of a dwelling place in the heavens, above the earth, that shall fall with a great crash. It will appear as a blue star. Very soon after this, the ceremonies of my people will cease. You will hear of a dwelling place in the heavens, above the earth, that shall fall with a great crash. Is that from the Bible? Is that the New Jerusalem? Or is it like ISS? Is that did they actually have anything up there at all? These are the signs that the great destruction is coming. The world shall rock to and fro. The white man will battle against other people in other lands. That happens all the time. With those who possess the first light of wisdom. Oh, wait. The white man will battle against other people in other lands with those who possess the first light of wisdom. There will be many columns of smoke and fire, such as White Feather has seen the white men make in the deserts not far from here. Only those which come will cause disease and a great dying. Many columns of smoke and fire. It sounds like the industrial age. Like a lot of this has already been done. Many of my people understanding the prophecy shall be safe. Those who stay and live in the places of my people also shall be safe. Then there will be much to rebuild, and soon, very soon afterward, Pahana will return. He shall bring with him the dawn of the fifth world. He shall plant the seeds of his wisdom in their hearts. Even now the seeds are being planted. These shall smooth the way to the emergence into the fifth world. Hopi prophecy, Hopi creation, Blue Star Kachina, true white brother. Oh, interesting. True white brother. There it is. He looks like the little dude on I Pet Goat too. Totally looks like him to me. Like, not an exact, his mask is different, but you get the idea what I'm talking about. He looks like he's from the same tribe or going to do the same thing. All right, should I keep going or do I stop? Let me see what time it is. Because this looks long. 1:36. There's people here, so I might as well keep reading a little bit. Oh, hello. Hello. Thank you. True white brother. The Hopi were told that after a time, white men would come and take their land and try to lead the Hopi into evil ways. But in spite of all the pressures against them, the Hopi were told they must hold to their ancient religion and their land, though always without violence. That sounds like me. That's just weird. I'm sorry. If they succeeded, they were promised that their people and their land would be a center from which the true spirit would be reawakened. Four Corners, we're going to look at that next. But again, I don't know how long I want to be doing this. I would like to just start walking and end up in one of those places because it feels like time is short. I haven't gotten a signal yet, like I should go or whatever, something in my pocket. Okay, so if they succeeded, they were promised that their people and their land would be a center from which the true spirit would be reawakened. It is said that after many years, the elder brother might change the color of his skin, but his hair will remain black. It is said that after many years, the elder brother might change the color of his skin, but his hair will be black. Blue Kachina is All right, we'll keep going. He will have the ability to write, and he will be the only person able to read the Tiponi. When he returns to find his younger brother, the Tiponi will be placed side by side to show all the world that they are true brothers. Then great judgment will take place, for the elder will help the younger brother to obtain real justice for all Indian brothers who have been cruelly mistreated by the white man since he came to Turtle Island. Whoa. So that's a prophecy that's just for the Hopi people. The transformed elder brother, the true white brother. I get what he's saying there. So they don't hate all white people, and that's proof right there. He's saying that that's how they describe people. They always do that. Will wear a red cloak or a red cap, similar to the pattern on the back of a horned toad. He will bring no religion but his own, and will bring with him Tiponi tablets. He will be all powerful. None will be able to stand against him. He will come swiftly and in one day gain control of this entire continent. Whoa! The transformed elder brother, the true white brother, will wear a red cloak or a red cap. He will bring no religion but his own. The transformed elder brother. True white brother. If he comes from the east, the destruction will not be so bad. But if he comes from the west, do not get up on your housetops to see, because he will have no mercy. So they don't know which way he's coming from? The true white brother will bring with him two great, intelligent, and powerful helpers, one of whom will have a sign of a swastika. Lovely, a masculine symbol of purity. Interesting, isn't it? It was a good luck charm, too, before they educated all of us and told us that it was a wicked symbol. It makes me wonder more and more about that whole movement, the whole thing. Okay, one of whom will have a sign of the swastika and the sign of the sun. All right. The second great helper will have the sign of a Celtic cross with red lines, representing female lifeblood. The second great helper will have the sign of a Celtic cross with red lines between the arms of the cross. When the great purification is near, these helpers will shake the earth first for a short time in preparation. After they shake the earth 2 times more, they will be joined by the true right brother who will become one with them and bring the purification day to the world. All 3 will help the younger brother, the Hopi, and other pure-hearted people to make a better world. In the prophecies, the 2 helpers are designated by the Hopi word for population, as if they were large groups of people. The Hopi were warned that if these 3 great beings failed, terrible evil would befall the world and great numbers of people would be killed. However, it was said that they would succeed if enough Hopi remained true to the ancient spirit of their people. It is known that our true white brother, when he comes, will be all powerful and will wear a red cap or red cloak. He will be large in population, belong to no religion but his very own. And these are, okay, there we go. True white brother and his helpers will show the people of earth a great new life plan that will lead to everlasting life. Didn't we already have that happen? The earth will become new and beautiful again with an abundance of life and food. Those who are saved will share everything equally. All races will intermarry and speak one tongue and be a family. Oh, sounds beautiful. The blue star Kachina. The end of all Hopi ceremonialism will come when a Kachina removes his mask during a dance in the plaza before uninitiated children. Hold, please. Does it count? Does the film iPad Goat count that they created that and made that? Does that count? Because he's already done that in that video. Hold on. I want to right there. When a Kachina removes his mask during a dance in the plaza before uninitiated children. That is shown in iPad Go 2. I'm going to have to include the link here because now that I read it from this person's perspective, it clearly lines up with more than just that one little guy. Okay, so for a while there will be no more ceremonies, no more faith. Then Arabi will be rejuvenated with its faith and ceremonies, marking the start of a new cycle of Hopi life. World War III will be started by those people who first revealed the light, the divine wisdom or intelligence, in the other old world countries, India, China, Islamic nations, Africa. The U.S. will be destroyed, land and people. They're saying we're done by radioactivity. Only the Hopis and their homeland will be preserved as an oasis to which refugees will flee. Bomb shelters are a fallacy. It is only materialistic people who seek to make shelters. Those who are at peace in their hearts already are in the great shelter of life. There is no shelter for evil. Those who take no part in the making of the world division by ideology are ready to resume life in another world. Be they black, white, red, yellow race, they are all one, brothers. Interesting. A lot of us know that. The war will be a spiritual conflict with material matters. Material matters will be destroyed by spiritual beings who will remain to create one world and one nation under one power, that of the Creator. That time is not far off. It will come when the blue star Kachina dances in the plaza and removes his mask. He represents a blue star, far off and yet invisible, which will make its appearance soon. The time is foretold by a song sung during the Waiwuchim ceremony. It was sung in 1914, just before World War I, and again in 1940, before World War II, describing the disunity, corruption, and hatred contaminating Hopi rituals, which were followed by the same evil spreading over the world. This same song was sung in 1961 during the Waiwuchim ceremony. And this is another reason I'm saying to be grateful. we are so spoiled with physical material things and with Google giving us the answers to everything. Most of us don't know much on our own. If we had to survive on our own, most of us could not do that. You're going to have to, like, if you are one of the ones who gets through all this, you're going to have to ask somebody else for help. Do you know how to plant? Do you know how to fish? Do you know how to dress and gut the fish? Do you know how to hunt? Do you know how to dress the animal and process it? Do you know how to, do any of these things? You're going to have to go to somebody else and humble yourself and ask for help. And it's probably going to be somebody like this. Be grateful now. Learn new things now so that you're an asset in times like these. Because obviously something has changed. Something is going to happen. Most people are getting out of America. They already know to leave, if you can afford it, anyways. So, and I think the immigration thing, I don't really believe that per se, but we'll move on. The great chieftain of the Bow clan led the faithful ones to this new land, but he fell into evil ways. His two sons scolded him for his mistake, and after he died, they assumed the responsibilities of leadership. Each brother was given a set of tiponi, and both were instructed to carry them to a place to which the Great Spirit directed them. The Great Spirit meaning the Holy Spirit, God. Hopi prophecy states that World War III will be started by the people who first received the light: China, Palestine, India, and Africa. When the war comes, the United States will be ended by gourds of ashes, which will fall to the ground, boiling the rivers and burning the earth, where no grass will grow for many years, and causing that no medicine can cure. This can only mean, okay, so now they're reading into it. They're saying it can only mean atomic or nuclear fallout. No other weapon causes such effects. Bomb shelters will be useless for it. Those who are at peace in their hearts already are in the great shelter of life. There is no shelter for evil. And I've said that too, and the scripture says that very clearly. You can't hide from this. It doesn't matter how much money you have. None of that matters. When the Sakawuha Kachina dances in the plaza and removes his mask, the time of the great trial would be here. The Hopi believe that only they will be saved. I don't know that I disagree with that. They're the only ones who are still living that way. And that doesn't mean, well, I should go out and do whatever I want. No, that means you should humble yourself and learn a new skill. Who knows how much time you have left? Learn something today. Learn a new skill. Koya Niskutazi, world out of balance, a state of life that calls for another way. The elders, Yukioma, David Monaghan, Dan, Tom, and Martin. These elders were highly versed in the ancient Hopi prophecy guiding the Hopi people, including the prophesied coming of the automobile and soon after the first shaking of the world, the First World War. Interesting. And so they knew something very important would happen. There would be an attempt to make peace on earth on the west coast of this land. They began to hear that there was going to be a League of Nations in San Francisco, so the elders gathered in Arizona around 1920 and they wrote a letter to Woodrow Wilson. They asked if the Indian people could be included in the League of Nations. The United States Supreme Court had held that a reservation is a separate and semi-sovereign nation, not part of the U.S., but protected by it. That reminds me of God's people. Like that does. Not Jewish people, not the people they show you on TV, this here. But for the government, this became a concern. Not Zionism, I guess is what I'm saying. Because people didn't want them, native peoples, to be considered nations. So they did not write back. And the native people were left out of the League of Nations so that the circle was incomplete, and the elders knew that peace would not come on the earth until the circle of humanity is complete. That's Lee Brown, Cherokee Continental Indigenous Group, blah, 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 1986. Oh no, the United Nations. This is interesting. Okay, so I'm going to stop here and I'm going to save this and something else that I have, because I was already looking at the 1940s as like a time period when something big happened, but I don't think it's with it again. They love to show us pictures and say, this is the proof. Well, but they frame the picture for you. They tell you what it is. They write whole books about single pictures. I don't believe them anymore about anything. I need to look myself to make sure what they're saying is true. I'm a Berean. I'm going to go research that out and see if it's real. Because if it's not, then I got to forget it and move on with my day, right? So the United Nations, this is interesting that they went here and they're going to talk about all this. So I'm going to go ahead and stop here for this video. Now, what am I going to do next? We might go back to the Holy Spirit and I might finish that video and then finish this one. Just so they're both done and buttoned up and all that. I don't like leaving loose ends. So that's what I would like to do. But if you want to see the end of this one before the Holy Spirit one, just let me know. For today, I'm going to go. I might do a short or two. I like playing with the editing tool a little bit and seeing how that works. But again, I'm not sure about technology for me anymore. Now, technology can also be a fishing rod, right? Like that's a piece of technology. I mean, electronic things that need processors and chips and all that. I'm not sure how I feel about any of that anymore. There's a picture that I used in another video, but on the other side of the chip, there's a black goo that like kind of holds it where it needs to go. And I found about black goo in remote controls too. Like, what is that for? Is again, energy should be free. So all of this is just, it needs investigating, all of it. But you guys have a blessed day. I hope that you're well. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to end this video now because I did not bring a drink. But you have a great day. There is a heat warning out today. So be careful. They're going to hate it, but I'll probably have to keep the dogs in again for most of the day because it's too hot. I took Sammy for a walk early and it was nice. It wasn't muggy at all. But it looks like they sent a heat warning. So hopefully it's not muggy and it's just like the sun or whatever. Hey, the neighbor has on a shirt the same color as mine. That's fine. All right, y'all. I will see you later. Have a great and blessed day. And I think that's it. Okay. Bye.